What is poppin'? It is your girl and I am back with another video. Today is Monday, guys, so you know it's Motivational Monday today, and there's a hummingbird right there. And low-key, they have been following me around. I love that for myself. It's a great day to be at the mountains today. It's a great way to start off my week. I know I made a video probably like last year or even maybe 2 years ago, kind of touching on this topic, and I think about this topic every time I come to the mountains. But I feel like today I'm actually able to put all of my thoughts into words. Not sure what I'm going to call this video, but I do know that every time I come to the mountains, I come here to seek guidance. I come here to seek knowledge and connection. I always realize the same lesson, but very differently every time I hike a mountain. I really truly believe that the trail on the way to the top of the mountains symbolizes the walk of life. A lot of times people start their path or they start their healing journey, and it's just like starting to hike a mountain. You know, you start really exhilarated and you got a little bit of pep in your step and everything, and then you kind of start to slow down and you really start to really catch that first. Whew, this is actually kind of steep, you know? Like you catch that first, I might need just a second here. And then I feel like a lot of times people get really hard on themselves because they're taking a break. I think that they're gonna start the hike and they're just gonna waltz all the way to the top, and it's gonna be like cake. And no matter what mountain you go to, it's never gonna be like cake. You know, you're always gonna have your moments where you need to stop and take a water break, or let me just stop and enjoy the view, or let me stop and catch my breath. A lot of times people don't enjoy the process. People take the process for granted. You know, I think it's beautiful when you're going up the mountains and you're taking breaks for yourself, and you're giving yourself time to breathe, and you're giving yourself time to enjoy the view, enjoy the ride, you know, enjoy the lessons, to learn, to gain knowledge, to gain perspective, to gain wisdom, to gain connection. When I first started coming to the mountains, and I was first kind of I would say conditioning myself to at least come up this mountain, I was always super diligent, always looking behind my back. I didn't want to be in anyone's way, and I was cautious of other people, just worrying about everyone else. A lot of times in life it's easy to do that, you know. It's easy to be around people and be oh well, they're the same age as me and they're further than me, or I'm doing better because I'm further than them and I'm the same age as them, when realistically none of that matters. The more and more I hike and the more I come on hikes and come to this mountain, the more I allow myself to flow. I was talking to my friend today, and I was you know what the best medicine is? Dancing up the mountains, dancing on the mountains, dancing through the mountains, dancing down the mountains, dancing on top of the mountains. I allow myself no judgment. I don't allow myself to judge myself. I don't allow myself to think if anyone else is judging me. Just allow myself to flow freely up the mountains and enjoy my ride. And if I need to take a break, I can take a break. And some breaks are longer than others. Sometimes we dwell a lot oh, well, I was in a really, really crappy relationship for a really long time, and I knew I should have left, but I didn't. But some breaks take longer than others. Sometimes we have to stay in certain places for a longer time or a longer period of time than a certain break, because we have more to learn in that space, and in that era, in that break of our life. We have more to learn, we have more to gain. I believe the most painful experiences bring the best scars. I was also thinking about this too, because I have scars from a car accident I was in, and sometimes I'm oh, these scars are so gross because they're literally on my butt, you know. I was thinking about that on the way up, because I kind of scratched my leg on a rock. I just got to thinking about scars. A lot of time people are shameful of their scars, whether they're physical scars or wounds in their heart, and I think scars are beautiful now. Because what if I just ran all the way to the top, didn't take any breaks, and didn't have any scars on the way to the top? You know, the only experience that I would be able to talk about is how I made it to the top. Allowing myself to take breaks and allowing myself to gain scars on the way, when I get to the top, I have stories to share, I have knowledge to tell. I think that's the most beautiful process of life, is that a lot of people are shameful for their imperfections, and they shame themselves for taking breaks, or taking a long break, or going through adversity. I love that word, and I use that word heavily a lot, because I don't like to say difficulty or struggle. I don't think I've ever struggled or had difficulty. I just faced adversity. When you're you're on your way to the top, it's easy to get sidetracked. And it's okay to get sidetracked. There's different paths. There's different paths than the one all the way to the top. It's okay to check out those paths. It's okay to go down those paths and, be curious and see what are down those paths and see the views that path may have, and the knowledge and lessons and connections and people and beings and spirits that you might meet on that path. But allow yourself to redirect. Sometimes people will be like, oh, well, I've just been doing this for so long, or yeah, it's too late in my life to change. I believe that redirection can happen at any point in your life. You can always go back onto your path and continue to keep working all the way to the top. The process of your mindset as you're getting close to the top is so beautiful. Like I said, you start out and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to get to the top. I am ready to get to the top of the mountain. Then you hit that first break and you're like, whew, it's kind of wiping me out, Then you go a little bit further and you're like, dang, like this is actually not as easy as I thought. And then you keep going and you're like, holy cats, like, am I halfway there? Like, am I almost there? Like, where's the finish line? You kind of start to feel that impatience. You gotta fight past that adversity to keep going. It's really easy to think about, just turn back and go back down now. At least I got out here and tried. At least I did a little bit of exercise. It's really easy to turn back. And then you decide to keep going and you push past that adversity. Or those adversities. There's multiple thoughts, multiple adversities that you're gonna face. You continue to keep going, and then you reach that halfway mark and you're like, hey, I'm just proud of myself that I made it halfway. That's when you face the hardest adversity. Because once you're halfway, you're like, do I keep going to the top, or do I just start heading back down? And then you keep going. And then once you get closer and closer to the top, it's like you get more exhilarated. Like, you're more exhilarated. You're like, wait, I'm actually doing this. Like, I can't stop now. I'm tired. I feel like I got nothing left in me. I don't have no more to give. I can barely breathe. I got no more energy, but I'm gonna just still keep going, because at this point I made it this far. Then you keep going, and it's like you can see the top, like it's literally right there. You're so close to it. And it's like really just fighting those last hard breaks, I feel like I take majority of my breaks once I get further up to the top. That's when I take majority of my breaks. Majority of my longer breaks. I take my longer breaks when I'm up here to enjoy how far I've came, to be grateful that I have the ability to make it this far, to be grateful that I have the mindset to keep going, to enjoy the view, to catch my breath. And you make it to the top. If you don't allow yourself to take time to be grateful and share gratitude, it's easy to just be like, oh wow, we made it to the top, just to have that instant gratification, just to say I made it to the top. You look around a little bit and then you start heading back down. I think it's such a cliche term, but nobody actually puts any real thought and appreciation into enjoying the view, enjoying the process. And along the path on your way up to, you're gonna come across different people. Some people are gonna be very interactive with you. Some people aren't gonna be interactive at all. Some people are gonna be slower. Some people are gonna be faster. Everyone has a different story and a different path, but we're all walking the same one. Every single person, we're all on the same path on the way to the top, but we all have a different agenda on how we're gonna get there, why we wanna get there, what we're gonna do when we get there, what we're gonna do with the knowledge that we gain from the hike, that we gain from getting to the top. Some of us don't always go to the top. Some of us are content with going halfway. If you put into perspective what it's like to hike to the top of a mountain, and you put that in perspective as what it's like to go through a healing journey, your self-love journey, to go through the journey of life, you start to understand yourself a little bit more. You start to understand others a little bit more. You start to understand nature and Mother Earth and Father Sky. We all take the same path, but we all have different walks. We all walk differently. We all talk differently. I think that's so beautiful. And a lot of times we don't realize that we're all connected on this walk. As you're heading down the mountains, you feel so exhilarated. Yeah, it's the hardest part of the process. As much as going up the mountains, you think is the hardest part of the process. The hardest part is coming down. You have to be so cautious and courteous of every step as you're coming down than when you had to get up. When you were going up, when you were climbing to the top and hiking to the top, you just have to look forward. But going down, you actually have to watch every step. Every step is very meticulous. I've came here and I've healed a lot, so I'm releasing on my way down. And for me, releasing is crying. I cry a lot. I'm a crier. You know, sometimes it's just releasing those endorphins, those pent-up endorphins that you kept in for so long. And by getting to the top, you were able to release those, but you weren't able to release those till you were on your way down. It's like then you finally get to the bottom after you just went up the hike, and you know that you've carried so much and you've learned so much. And now I'm gonna cry. You get to the bottom of the mountain and you realize that it won't be your last hike. I want to leave you guys off with a few gratefuls and a few affirmations this morning. I am grateful for rest. I am grateful to always learn new things. I'm grateful to be deserving. I am grateful of my essence. I am grateful for genuine connection. I am grateful that I am abundant. I'm grateful to be surrounded by inspiration. A few affirmations I have for this morning is I welcome love. I release any ego I may hold on to. I release all limiting beliefs that I may have and carry. I welcome inner child healing. I am a being full of abundance. I am a leader. I walk in peace and tranquility. I always love leaving you guys off with affirmations and gratefuls to allow you guys to expand your horizons and allow you guys ideas. You guys stayed this long to listen, guys. Thank you so much for always tuning in and showing love. I appreciate you guys always, and I will see you guys next time.